Hey, I'm Chase Cunningham, Dr. Cunningham, if you want to be formal. Dr. Zero Trust is also a thing. I'm reporting here for Cybersecurity HQ, and I'm going to give you the things you need to know this week in cybersecurity. So let's start with the one that everybody's talking about. The SEC is formally charging, actually suing the CISO of SolarWinds. This is substantial. Let's just be real. The entire board and executive C-suite there should be part of this thing because this stuff does not happen in a vacuum. Now, there's a lot of other things going on there, but we should all know that CISOs make recommendations and CISOs try and put things in place, and then other executives make those things either happen or not happen. So where does the liability fall? I think this is slightly different than the standard for negligence we're trying to get to, but that's not good for the CISO. So sucks for him. Oh, by the way, just on the lineup of awards, the guy was actually awarded CISO of the Year in 2023 by a cyber awards thing. So take that for a grain of salt every time you see somebody with a whole bunch of awards. Yeah. Canada is formally banning WeChat and Kaspersky applications on government devices. Canada on Monday blamed Chinese messaging application WeChat and Russian antivirus program Kaspersky on government-issued mobile devices, banned it due to privacy and security risk, but said government information has not been compromised that they know of. The ban was announced after an assessment by Canada's chief information officer that Tennyson owned WeChat and applications made by Kaspersky present an unacceptable list of risks to security and privacy. Now, you're probably looking at this and going, well, duh, who would ever buy something from a company with a name like Kaspersky? Kaspersky was a U.S. federal thing as well. It was in the FBI. So maybe Canada's doing things faster or better than us. I don't know. Personally, we should probably do this in the U.S. if you ask me as well. There's an article on Business Wire about KnowBe4. Now, this is kind of a vendor wagging their own tail, but okay. So based on data from 60,000 individual KnowBe4 customer organizations worldwide, they basically ran a big study to validate that security awareness training and simulated phishing is beneficial. Duh. Highlights in the study include groups that did frequent training performed better in dedicated simulated phishing campaigns, obviously. The more they trained, the better they got, obviously. And groups that only did it every once in a while were still reducing risk. Sure, makes sense. And a combination of training and simulated testing actually were the best that you could get. So again, for the record, train your people, educate them, whatever. I would still be willing to go to any one of these organizations any day of the week and say, let's put a red team up against your phishing training people and see what happens. But it's good to know that there's concrete validated proof that if you train, you do get better, because that's at least something. So there's a win there. Hooray, hooray. This article is in Bloomberg. It is about the MoveIt vulnerability. Hackers access 632,000 email addresses at the U.S. Justice Defense Departments. Yeah, whoops. A Russian-speaking hacking group obtained access to the email address of about 632,000 U.S. federal employees at the DOJ as part of the MoveIt hack last summer, according to a report on the wide-ranging attack obtained through a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act. The report by the U.S. OPM, which was also the folks who were breached a long time ago, provides new details about cyber attack in which hackers exploited flaws in MoveIt, a file transfer tool. Federal cybersecurity officers previously confirmed the government's ADs were compromised by the attack, but provided little information. The incident was reported to a congressional subcommittee, basically said that there were links to government employee surveys administered by OPM and had internal OPM tracking codes. The impacted employees were at the DOJ, DOD, including U.S. Army Air Force, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Office of the Secretary of Defense, and Joint Staff and Defense Agencies. Whoops, not good. Honestly, in the auspices of big things, it's not all those email addresses have probably already been compromised before, especially if OPM's involved, but it still is concerning. ISC2, and there's my wireless doorbells barking, which, by the way, folks, if you're looking for like wireless stuff, Pomeranians make great wireless doorbells. They recharge themselves, and you don't have to worry about anyone ever sneaking up. Matter of fact, if a moth farts in the yard, they'll let you know about it. So instead of getting your Ring doorbell that's streaming your information to Bezos, maybe think about getting a Palm. ISC2 has published a document about the workforce and skills gap. This was found via their site, 2023 ISC2 Cybersecurity Workforce Study. Here's the takeaways. 92% of cybersecurity professionals report skill gaps. Yikes. The top 3 skill gaps are cloud computing, AI, machine learning, and ZT implementation, which is a 30 percentile. 51% of organizations that have had cybersecurity layoffs have been impacted by one or more skills gaps, compared to 39% that have not had layoffs. Well, duh. 47% of respondents experienced cutbacks, which were budgetary. 35 saw a drop in their training funding. 2/3 said that the cutbacks impacted their productivity. And 47% of respondents have no knowledge of artificial intelligence, large language modeling. 47% see cloud computing as a most sought after skill, and 45% see AI as their top challenge. So not looking good for the home team overall on the ISC2 skills stuff. Need more people, but also need to use the right technologies to do the right things the right way. Truly concerning. This is the last one I'll leave you with for this week. This came out on Bloomberg. Actually, it was about a week or so ago. Colorado court okays use of Google search data in murder case. This is troubling. How many of us are using Google searches? Ruling is first test of legality of keyword search warrants. Let's see. So Colorado Supreme Court ruled on Monday that evidence gleaned from a warrant for Google search data could be used in a murder case, sparking concerns the decision may encourage more police to embrace this controversial technique. Basically, after a 2020 fire that killed 5 people in the Denver area, police were scrambling to identify suspects. They asked Alphabet Inc.'s Google to provide information about people who searched for the address of the house that went up in flames, using a novel approach known as keyword search warrant. So basically, they get a warrant to run a keyword search and see who did those things on servers. Because remember, when you do things on the internet, it's still there. It's there forever. After some initial objections, Google shared data that enabled detectives to zero on 5 accounts, leading to the arrest of 3 teens. Lawyers for one of the defendants, Gavin Seymour, was found to have Googled the home's address 14 times in the days before the fire. There's a 74-page decisions based on this from the Supreme Court. And here's the outcome. But the problem of this thing is, after this decision, this is the Supreme Court judge in Colorado saying, I anticipate that reverse keyword warrants will swiftly become the investigated tool of first resort. Yeah, so just think about what you do on a daily basis on Google search. I've probably searched for 3 different things on hacking today, and malware and Russian crime groups and whatever. How does that play out if somebody goes off and does one of those search warrants? And am I potentially going to be implicated for something that I had no part in? Obviously, there's other pieces of this puzzle, but this is concerning. Anyway, I'm Dr. Chase Cunningham, reporting for Cybersecurity HQ. These are the things that you need to know. As always, stay smart, stay safe, stay secure. Catch you on the next one.